Happy 4th of July, everyone. Today we're going to be making a chili cheese corn dog pie. This only costs $10 to make, so it's a cookout-friendly recipe that won't break the bank. As usual, everything I'm using came from the Dollar Tree. I have 2 packages of hot dogs, 2 cans of chili, you can do with or without beans, and then a package of Velveeta cheese sauce, some of their honey sweet cornbread mix, and then of course to make that you need milk and eggs. This is optional, but I really wanted a cookout style hot dog, so I broiled mine in the oven for about 3 minutes on each side until it got a slight char. This is an alternative if you don't have a grill. You're also going to want to set your cheese sauce packet in some hot water so that it becomes more pourable for later on. Next, you'll want to prepare your cornbread mixture. According to the package instructions, I added it to a large bowl along with 3 eggs and 1 3/4 cup of milk. Stir well to combine and set aside. Then we are ready to assemble our pie. I started off by putting both cans of chili in the bottom. I'm opting for the no bean chili just because I wanted a hot dog style chili. Then you're going to cut your hot dogs into bite-sized pieces and layer those on top. Drizzle everything with your cheese sauce and then of course pour your cornbread mixture over the top. You're going to bake this at 400 degrees for around 30 minutes or so, maybe 35 minutes until your cornbread is baked all the way through. Plate it up and serve, and then you're done. Some optional toppings include some extra cheese sauce, some jalapenos, or even some sauteed peppers and onions, all of which you can purchase at the Dollar Tree. You can serve this on a plate or in a bowl, and this is about the point in the video where I realized that it's very hard to make anything relating to chili look appetizing. But looks aside, excuse me while I have a bit of an existential crisis over how delicious this tasted. I would strongly recommend that you try this recipe and let me know in the comments below. I got a lot of questions about why I bought hot dog buns but no hot dogs, and here's the reason. I use them to make meatball subs. So that's today's Dollar Tree dinner is meatball subs with a side of pasta salad. I used 2 bags of Italian-style meatballs, a can of garlic and herb pasta sauce, a block of mozzarella cheese, a jar of Parmesan cheese, a package of hot dog buns, and then for a side dish, 2 boxes of classic pasta salad. Each of the bags of Dollar Tree meatballs comes with about 10 meatballs, which is perfect for the 8 subs we're going to be making today. I started off by cutting them into quarters to distribute them evenly throughout the dish. Then with my block of mozzarella cheese, you can choose to grate this if you like, but for those of you who don't have a cheese grater, you can also just chop up the cheese by hand like I'm doing here. Over on my stovetop on medium heat, I added in all of my cubed up meatballs, followed by about half of my jar of pasta sauce. You don't need the entire jar, just enough to coat the meatballs. You can save the other half for another recipe later on. The meatballs are pre-cooked, so no real need to cook them here. You're just going to bring this up to a simmer to heat everything through. In a large glass baking dish, I added in all 8 of my hot dog buns, and I chose to pre-toast them in my oven at 350 for around 10 minutes just to begin drying them out so that they had more of a hoagie bun-like texture. I filled each of my hot dog buns with some of my meatball and sauce mixture, and it was around this time that I realized that not all 8 of my buns would fit in my pan with the meatballs actually in them, so I had to remove one of them and try to figure out where to fit it in later. Turns out that when it comes to meatball subs, maybe size does matter. I topped each of my subs with some cubes of mozzarella cheese and sprinkled on some of my Parmesan cheese mixture. I then baked this in the oven for around 5 to 10 minutes just to allow the cheese on top to melt. Now for the pasta salad, I brought a pot of water up to a boil on my stovetop and I added in both boxes of my pasta salad. I allowed this to boil for about 12 minutes while I prepared the sauce. In a bowl, I added in both of my packets of seasoning mix, followed by 2 tablespoons of cold water and 2 tablespoons of the oil of your choice. I'm using vegetable oil here. Mix your sauce to combine, and then when your pasta is done cooking, you're going to add in your drained pasta to this. And I like to also add in some of my extra Parmesan cheese from earlier just to amplify the pasta a little bit. You can choose to make this the night before if you like cold pasta salad, but I made it at the same time, so I did eat it warm. And with that, you are ready to plate up and serve. This is a $10 dinner that will feed 4 people, so each person would get 2 of these meatball subs and about a half a cup or so of the pasta salad mix. Here is a cost breakdown, and let me know in the comments what you think below. You all have been asking for dairy-free recipes, so let's make this quick and easy $5 taco soup for dinner. You'll need 2 bags of Santa Fe blend, a bag of Spanish rice, and a packet of taco seasoning. Starting off with the Santa Fe blend, this is a frozen blend of corn, beans, peppers, and onions, and it's a great value rather than buying the individual ingredients. We're going to microwave it first. I'm going to steam it in the microwave for 7 minutes per the package instructions because the beans in the bag are not fully cooked right off the bat. From here, it's fairly dump and go. Starting in a large pot over medium-high heat, I added in a tablespoon of oil, and to this I added my taco seasoning. This is called blooming your seasoning, and it's where you cook it in hot oil to intensify chili flavors, and you generally get a better bang for your buck out of your seasoning if you do it this way. Then I added in both bags of my Santa Fe blend, my packet of Spanish rice, and I allowed this to saute for a couple of minutes before I added in 4 cups of water. Of course, if you choose, you can use broth or bouillon here in place of the water, but you guys already know that when I say it's a $5 recipe, I literally mean it's a $5 recipe. Allow this mixture to come to a boil, give it a quick stir to make sure none of the rice is sticking to the bottom of the pot, and then you're going to cover with a lid, reduce your heat to low, and allow it to simmer for about 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, your taco soup is ready to serve. Of course, if you're not dairy-free, you can top this with some sour cream or some cheese. Between the taco seasoning and the Spanish rice, this dish has plenty of seasonings and flavor without any extra cost or additives, and it was really good, guys. I even burned the crap out of my tongue trying it for you all, so it was totally worth it. Today we're making no egg breakfast burritos. I've been wanting to make Taco Bell's breakfast crunch wraps, but since my Dollar Tree's been out of eggs, I decided to make these no egg burritos instead. You will need flour tortillas, sausage, I'm using the maple flavor, but feel free to use the original, a package of frozen hash brown patties, a package of frozen seasoning blend, and a block of cheddar cheese. Starting off with the tortillas, the Dollar Tree tortillas can stick together just a little bit, so some of you recommended microwaving them in a damp paper towel for 30 seconds, and I did try that and found that it helped a little bit, but I still had a few tortillas that stuck together and I had to scrap in the end. I also decided to cube up my frozen hash brown patties. While you can definitely fry them in their whole state, I wanted to get more burritos out of them than just the 5 individual patties. Plus, I thought that if I cut them into smaller pieces, you would have more crispy edges, and that would definitely add to the dish. The only other prep work to do in the beginning is to grate the cheese. I'm going to cook everything in one skillet just to save on dishes, so I started off by frying my sausage over medium-high heat. I broke it up with a spatula as I cooked it so that it was more of a crumbled texture. When my sausage was done, I added in about half my bag of seasoning blend and allowed this to continue to saute until the seasoning blend had evaporated off all of the excess liquid from the frozen vegetables. This also has the benefit of taking off any of the sausage drippings from the bottom of the pan. This should take about 5 minutes or so, and then you can remove it to a bowl and set aside for later. To the same skillet, I added in about 1/4 inch deep of vegetable oil so that we can fry our hash brown patties. Working on medium heat, I fried my hash brown patty cubes for around 3 to 4 minutes before I flipped them over and cooked them for the same amount of time on the other side. Once they were golden brown and crispy, I removed them to a plate lined with a paper towel so they could drain. I had to fry the hash browns in about 2 batches, but then they are ready to go and we can assemble our burritos. I made 6 burritos with these ingredients today, but I did make mine quite full, so you could stretch this even further and make 8 if you wanted to. All I did was evenly distribute my sausage, potatoes, and cheese between all 6 of my flour tortillas. Since I did make these quite full, I decided to fold them with one end open just to make them easier to wrap. And here are your finished breakfast burritos ready to serve. Because I use maple sausage, these ones that I made had a sweet and salty vibe, which some of you may or may not like. And these Dollar Tree hash brown patties were so good. They were very well seasoned and incredibly crispy. They cooked up very well, and they were one of my favorite Dollar Tree finds to date. Today we're making a lunch inspired by the Starbucks egg and cheese protein boxes. This is a no reheat lunch if you don't have access to a microwave, and it can be made up to a week in advance. Starbucks sells a single one of these for $6.55. However, I was able to make 6 of them for just $10 from the Dollar Tree. You'll need a 6-pack of eggs, 2 blocks of cheese, I'm using cheddar and pepper jack. For an added protein, I got some salami, some sort of cracker. I got these because I knew they were individually sleeved and would stay fresh longer. a jar of creamy peanut butter, and lastly trail mix. I went with 2 bags of tropical fruit. This is optional. I definitely recommend using what you have, but I got some new containers at the Dollar Tree. I got these because they have 2 compartments per container, which is perfect for this protein box style lunch. I also got some cupcake liners to keep things separated, and lastly I got this 10-pack of these reusable small containers for the peanut butter. The only thing that needs to be cooked here is the eggs, so let me show you an easy peel hard-boiled egg method. And it's probably not the way that you've been taught to make hard-boiled eggs, but you actually need to start them in hot water, not cold. The water should be almost boiling but not quite boiling, and you're going to drop the eggs into the water slowly and carefully, one at a time with a spoon. Allow this to then come to a full boil, reduce your heat to low, cover it with a lid, and allow it to simmer for exactly 12 minutes. Then you're going to move your eggs from the pot into an ice bath, and you're going to allow them to cool for approximately 5 to 10 minutes or so until they are cold to the touch. This is the perfect opportunity to begin preparing the rest of our protein box ingredients, starting with cubing the salami into bite-sized pieces. I also cubed up both of our cheeses, and I portioned out our peanut butter into our plastic containers. The only thing left to do is to peel our eggs. I've used this hot start method for about 10 years or so, and let me tell you, it was life-changing the first time I tried it, and I've never used any other method. The eggs peel so easily, even without having to run them under water first. We can then assemble our protein boxes. Each one will get 1 egg cut in half, a cup of our peanut butter. I then put 3 cupcake liners in each of the containers to portion evenly out the cheese, salami, and the trail mix. Of course, you can't forget about the sleeves of crackers, but those won't fit in the boxes, so we'll just have to leave them on the side. And here are your finished Starbucks-inspired protein boxes. For just $10, you can prep an entire week's worth of lunches. I love that with these you can mix and match most of the ingredients. Like you can eat the crackers with the peanut butter or the meat and cheese. You can even dip the trail mix in the peanut butter. Question of the day is, how do you eat your hard-boiled eggs? I like mine with a little bit of mustard or even some salt and pepper. I'd love to know what combinations you guys come up with as well.